Greetings, beautiful earthlings. My name is Star. If you are new here, I don't know how you found me, but I am super grateful to have you. And if you are returning, y'all the real MVP, you already know. So you guys know why you're here. There's a very obvious reason that you're here, and I am so excited for you guys. I want to say a big thank you to those of you guys who entered the giveaway. Thank you so much for playing along with the rules, and I am just so excited to be able to give something back. I try every once in a while, as much as I would like to give away, you know, like 15 tarot decks. Sometimes one is all I can manage, one with shipping and like a tarot bag, right? So for those of you guys who don't care too much about the giveaway, I will be announcing the giveaway winner at the end of this video. That way, if you just want to see what I have to say about the deck, you can do that as well. But for those of you guys who are interested in who won the giveaway, I will be announcing that at the end of this video, and then I will also be posting it on Instagram. I wanted to do this one first, that way I didn't have any spoilers and you guys would want to watch the video. So a while back, I did a video about my least favorite tarot decks. Well, it was like my least favorite and favorites, right? It was a big long video. But in there, I do discuss some things about some tarot decks which I am passionately against. One of them being the Tattoo Tarot deck. You guys already know I got like the biggest beef with Mystic Mondays ever. But, you know, there always has to be more. Clearly, you can't love them all. And I do want to preface this video by saying, I mean all of this in the most lighthearted way possible. This is just to have a good time. This is just to let loose a little bit when it comes to tarot, because I do try to be very reviewer on this channel, right? Somehow I got into the reviewer shoes, and I try to be, you know, naturally positive about the things that I say about tarot decks. Even if I got a couple little things here and there I don't like about it, I try to highlight the positive points of tarot decks because I want you guys to know what's good about the deck you're getting. I don't ever want to make anyone feel bad or feel shamed about a tarot deck that they like, right? But I do have some serious beef with Mystic Mondays and the Tattoo Tarot, and that's why I wanted to do this giveaway. So if you guys are new to this, last year I did a roast for the Mystic Mondays Tarot, and then I gave it away. And this is the same thing where I want to review it. I want to look at it at least once in my life to try to either substantiate or disprove how I feel about the deck beforehand, right? I want to give it a fair shot. I can't give it a fair shot if I've never actually had it in my hands, but at the end of the day, it's a deck I don't like, it's a deck I don't want, which is why I do the giveaway. So it's supposed to be like a fun little roast, and then, you know, here you go, you can have it if you want it, because I don't want it. I clearly don't want it. But again, I want to make that very clear. Please don't take anything I say in this video to heart. If you like this deck, by all means, everybody has their own taste, okay? Everybody has their own taste. It's okay if you like this deck. This is just a couple little things I have to say about it, which might not line up with yours so very much, which is okay. So if you guys don't know, there is a traditional style of tattooing, at least in America. It's called American Traditional, right? And that's what this deck is based off of. If you've never seen the art of the Tattoo Tarot, it is supposed to be American traditional tattoo style. So I'm going to pop in a little thing here that talks about what the actual definition of American traditional tattoo styling is. I think it's, you know, I've watched 1,000,001 tattoo shows, but I'm not a tattoo artist myself. So what I know of Tattoo Tarot is that it's supposed to be kind of like a 1950s style type of, like the styling on the people themselves, right? The way that they dress, the way that they look. It has very bright primary colors, hard black lines. Usually this would have things like an anchor, a rose, an eagle. There's like very specific imagery that goes along with American traditional tattooing. So this deck is supposed to be based off of that, okay? I would love to know how an actual tattoo artist feels about this deck, because I know that there's very specific guidelines in which American traditional tattooing is supposed to fall under. And I can't imagine 78 of these 78 cards completely fall in line with the American traditional tattoo style. I understand that to some people you're already like annoyed, right? Oh, who cares? It's artistic expression. It could be based off of that thing. It doesn't have to be exactly to the T of American traditional tattooing, right? I get it. But it's a little bit disrespectful to the history of tarot to do things without following the rules of them, right? Like American traditional tattooing cannot have things that Japanese traditional tattooing has in it, and vice versa. It's disrespectful to those cultures. It's disrespectful to the history of those cultures. And even tattoo artists would not cross the two respectfully, right? You just don't. There's rules. And in something like this, I know it's based off of, right? Could be loosely. I'll never know. I'm not a tattoo artist. I didn't spend 15 years studying American traditional tattoo art. But I just think personally that there is no way that each of these 78 images could be completely respectful to the initial historical guidelines of American traditional tattoo. Okay, just my thought. I could be wrong, and I genuinely hope if I am wrong, somebody can prove it to me. That'd be fantastic. I will gladly eat crow and say, I fucked up, this actually is in line. My second issue with this deck was that I had a lot of people who had this deck, who loved this deck, who wanted it as their first deck, who said that this was hard to learn on. You guys know me as a reviewer. I like my decks to be beginner friendly. I understand not all tarot decks will be. I know that now, okay? You know, being 6 years into this already, I know now that not all tarot decks are going to be for beginners, and not all tarot decks should be meant for beginners. But when I initially said what I had said about the Tattoo Tarot, I did have that type of viewpoint towards tarot decks, that each tarot deck should be beginner friendly, that a beginner brand new to tarot should be able to pick up any tarot deck and start with it. Now, just because you can start with it doesn't mean it's good to start with. Doesn't mean that it's going to teach you tarot, doesn't mean that it's going to make tarot easy for you to learn or effective, right? You can start with the Goetia Tarot as your first tarot deck. Doesn't mean that you're going to learn anything about tarot, because tarot is, in this day and age, New Age tarot is based off of the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, right? Clearly, we've beat this horse as far as we can beat it, right? We already know there's tons and tons and tons of different types of tarot systems, okay? For the sake of argument, we're talking about the Rider-Waite-Smith system of imagery here, okay? The issue that I had with this deck was that it did not fall in line with the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. Not on all of them, but my issue back then was the pip cards. The minors not being in line with the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, right? Again, the longer I'm doing this, the longer I understand. Not all tarot decks are based off of the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. Not all tarot decks are based off of the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. Not all tarot decks are based off of the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. This could have been used, this could have used the Marseille Tarot as a basis, right? We know now, I know now, that a lot of tarot decks have this type of minor imagery where it uses specifically just the suit. That has nothing to do with the learnability of a deck, okay? So, like I said, when I'm wrong, I'll admit it. I know that I'm wrong. I know that this is just a different system of reading. And I had said at one point in time, like, there's no way a beginner could learn on that. 7 swords does not equal the meaning of the 7 swords, right? So this is why it's so important to stay with tarot, okay? If there's a tarot deck you don't like, you go find one you do like. If there's a tarot book that didn't resonate with you, you go find one that does. If you're not learning tarot from the right person, you find another person, right? Because the longer you do this, the more you get into it, the more you study it, the more you realize the initial impressions you have of tarot and tarot culture change the more you learn about it, okay? So I no longer have much of an issue with this deck. And I know full well from my least favorite video, a lot of people genuinely expected me to still have that type of mindset going into this that I was going to fully roast this deck. I don't really have a problem with it anymore, to be honest. Mystic Mondays, I still have beef with that. I'm never going to get over my Mystic Mondays beef because of the deck itself. I'm sorry, I can't. My biggest quarrel with this deck, however, is the book. So here's the book. It's a fucking pamphlet, guys. I get it. Okay, I get it. We're all trying to make tarot easily digestible. We're all trying to make this the best that it can be, and we all think that we can give the best spin on tarot. This bothers me so much. There's information in here, court cards, spreads, suits, numbers, things like that. It's a cute little book. It's something I'd give my child to color on. I don't like books like this in a tarot deck. This bothers me so much. And I understand it's not important, right? The size of the book is not important. The paper weight is not important. The gloss finish, right? None of that's important. I get it. It's about what's in the book. It just bothers me personally as someone who's seen over 60 decks. This feels lazy. Not the production of the book itself, right? You could have a killer fucking pamphlet. You can. It's possible. I've seen it. But it just always puts me off a little bit at first glance when I open a tarot deck, especially one with a box as big as my head, and I've got a pamphlet for a book. Again, my personal opinion, this could be a great book. However, again, as someone who's read lots of tarot books and handled lots of tarot decks, this isn't saying anything that the Biddy Tarot website doesn't already say. When you're using something small, something like just keywords for your beginners, why would you put a beginner-friendly little keyword cheat sheet pamphlet in here when you've got a deck that probably isn't beginner-friendly? My personal opinion. Now let's take a look at this deck. So I did do a walkthrough for those of you guys who want to see the cards, who've never seen this deck before. There is a walkthrough there. Go check it out. If I can remember to put it in the info card, I will. I probably didn't even do the last one, to be honest. So I want to talk about colors. Colors is a very big part of the world we live in, but also it's a very big part of the tarot. Again, for argument's sake, we're talking about the Rider-Waite-Smith system of tarot, okay? The colors in the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot are meticulously picked out and given meaning. Each of the colors in each card represent another deeper layer to that card. So not only does the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot have the hidden imagery with, symbolism, the colors all mean something, the numbers on the card mean something, the placement of the card in the chronological timeline of the tarot means something, right? I feel like using something strict to a guideline of color takes away from that a little bit. I just don't get anything from this deck. Still, having looked at it, having flipped through it, it feels like more of a coloring book to me than an actual tarot deck, which is completely fine in this day and age. It's 2023. We're not all still reading with playing cards, right? It's fine. It's fine. I want to make that very clear. That's how I feel about this deck. It's fine. It's there. It serves its purpose. It just doesn't give me anything. This is the happiest card in the deck, but that is a very muted golden yellow. Again, they're using a color that I know, you got gray in the rest of the card. There's a little sprinkle winkle of green in there, but the sun card in the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery is so bright, so vivid, and so exciting, right? It's supposed to be the happiest card in the deck, and we're using muted colors. I don't get the same feel from these cards. And I have talked about before that I personally believe how we initially perceive a deck is kind of what creates the energy of the deck. A lot of people talk about their decks having their own personalities, and I personally feel like it's an egregore that we as readers create for the deck. And I think having preconceptions about this deck very clearly affects how I see this as an actual divination tool. Okay, I understand that, but I need you to understand that, because if you can read with this deck, good on you, dude. I'm sure I could read with this deck. If I sat here and spent an hour shuffling it, I could give you a, 2-bit reading. The objects, physical material objects that you use to do your divination work don't matter. We see this all over TikTok. Yes, you can use tarot cards, pendulums, stones, bones, charms, fucking water. None of it matters because it's about the connection to spirit. Genuinely, at the end of the day, all divination is a way to have physical proof for our human eyes that our connection to spirit is there, that it's real, that it's genuine, that the messages we are really getting from outside of ourselves, right? So at the end of the day, nothing about what I have to say about this deck matters. Is this a deck I like? No. Is this a deck I would buy again for myself? No. Is this a deck I would give as a present to somebody? Outside of this giveaway, no. But I did give this deck away as a gift. To be 1,000% transparent, I asked my friend Ash on TikTok if they wanted this deck. I wasn't gonna do this giveaway, guys. I wasn't, because I genuinely didn't want to buy 2 of this deck. I was just gonna send it to my friend Ash and be done with it and be like, I tried. Okay, I tried. I held it in my hands. I didn't like it enough to talk about it for 15 minutes. I tried. But then I saw that I did some teasers on some videos and I was like, shh, I have to do a giveaway on this deck. I did tease it for a while. So here we are. At the end of the day, however many years after I made the initial comment of, not liking this deck, being unreadable, never gonna buy it, right? However many years it's been since then, since the initial time that I said that, not the initial time I said it on film, the initial time I said it, right? It's been years. Like, I've held this idea in my brain for years. However long it's been, I have since learned that all the things I said about this deck aren't entirely true, okay? It's readable, it's usable, it's aight. It probably falls in line with American traditional standards. I don't think this is an unreasonable size anymore. Everybody that I knew that had this deck was like, the cardstock's too thick, the cards hurt my hands, they're way too big, blah, blah, blah. This is a normal tarot size, guys. I know I'm also speaking as someone that has 60 plus decks, right? I have to forcibly learn to use these big cards. Have you seen the Cthulhu Tarot that I did a review on? Cthulhu Tarot, Lovecraft Tarot, I don't know what it's called. But those cards are 3 times the size of the Starman Tarot, and I can't shuffle the Starman Tarot, but guess what? I've done readings with the Cthulhu Tarot. This is not unreasonable size. This is normal size for a tarot deck. Yes, the cardstock is thick, but am I mad about it? Not one single bit, because these cards are going to last. So that's probably the best thing I have to say about this deck. I know this cardstock's going to last. It may fray a little bit on the ends here and there, but if you look at how big your borders are, that's never going to touch the image of the card. The only way you're going to mess up the images on these cards is if you spill something on it. Like, these are going to last. These are going to last you the test of time. However, this is a very thick deck. Because the cardstock is so thick, it is a thick deck, which makes this hard to handle like the Lightseers. I understand the argument. And as this becomes frayed, it might get thicker. People with bigger hands aren't really going to have a problem with that. those of us with little hands aren't going to like it too much. But if you really like the deck that much, or you really like the bond of this deck, or this was your first deck, you know, you might like it. You might learn to like it. You know what I mean? It's just boring to me. It's just so boring. Just muted colors are just damn boring. And the thing that really gets me is that each of these court cards are like identical. If I were to see one of these cards in a reading, I'd have to stop and read what the card is. And that bothers me. That puts me out of the flow of reading when I have to be like, what is this card? I can't tell by the imagery. I have to stop and, you know, read the words on the card. And I know to some people that sounds pretentious as fuck. Like, you can't just read what's on your card. It's already in front of your face. But when you're in the flow of reading, you should know your deck well enough by the imagery, by the energy of each card. You should have bonded enough with that deck that you can read it without reading it. You shouldn't have to read the cards. You should know what that card is the second you pull it. Yes, I have that kind of bond with the decks that I read with. And that's why something like this just bothers me. It's so boring, dude. Like, not a single one of these cards excited me. Even the star card. Like, the first thing I do when I grab a deck is I look at the star card. Maybe the death card is cool. It's just boring to me. It's a tattooed girl with stars around her. That's super cute. Like, I'm sorry, guys. It's boring. And that's why I don't have really much of anything to say about this deck. I really tried to hit all of the points right. The box, the book, the deck. I really tried. I really genuinely tried to give you guys like a full flushed roast. I've been thinking about this for months. And I can't come up with anything to say about this deck. It's just boring to me. But I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad that I got it. I'm glad that I held it in my hands. I'm glad that I looked at it. I'm glad that I bought 2 of them. Okay, to be completely honest. Just like Mystic Mondays, I've bought a couple of those so far in my life. And even though I don't like the deck, I don't like the imagery, I don't like the book, it's still a part of the tarot community. It's still a staple in New Age tarot, and it still serves its place in this time. It's still important. And that's what I think a lot of people forget to realize when, you know, getting into these little arguments about which deck is better, which deck is superior, which deck has the best imagery. We get caught up on these little gossipy things and we attach them to spiritual items, and it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. To be completely honest, I used the argument of like gossip to turn this into content. To be quite honest, sweetheart, at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter what your cards look like. You can print out cards on your computer. You can draw your own cards on blank playing cards, on sticky notes, on index cards. What matters is your connection to spirit. What matters is your connection to the universe. What matters is your desire to learn. That's it. Tarot is about learning. Tarot is a tool which is designed to funnel our motivation and our desire to learn into an actual, tangible discipline. I feel like that's all it is. This is just divination regardless. It's just meant to teach us discipline in our craft, just like everything else. And yes, we can pick apart tarot decks, right? It's easy. It's what we do all day. It's what we all do all day. We pick apart material things. We pick apart the people around us. We pick apart our houses and our cars and our fucking clothes, right? But at the end of the day, you guys, these are just cards. This is just cards with a book in a box. And it doesn't mean anything what anybody else has to say about them, okay? Don't let anybody make you feel bad about the decks you like. Don't make anybody feel bad about the decks they don't like. Because eventually, on their journey, they're going to realize that it doesn't fucking matter. And I hope you do too. That's why I like doing these videos every once in a while to stir up the vibe on my channel. I don't want you guys thinking I am 1000% all sunshine and rainbows all the time. I got shit to say. You know what I mean? Not that it matters to anyone, but I got shit to say. So every once in a while, I'll say some shit. You know what I mean? But anyways, let's go ahead and announce the winner of the Yule giveaway. I'm going to go ahead and roll the little spinny wheel. And you guys saw it there. There's the winner. I'm so excited. So I will be contacting this person on Instagram so that I can, you know, get their information. I will be contacting that person and that person only. And I will be sending a video confirmation of me telling them that they won, okay? So if anybody else gets contacted for the giveaway, I just want to let you know it's not me. Don't fall for it, okay? So anyways, I do just want to say, I'm sorry I got all like, you know, mommy spiritualist on you guys there, but at the end of the day, this is YouTube. We're just all trying to make some content, right? And I want you guys to understand that gossipy bullshit has no place in spirituality. It has its place here in the 3D realm, right, on YouTube, but I want you guys to know genuinely that's not how I feel. It's first impressions. It's, you know, human things, human eyes, of course, human brain. I'm going to look at things. I'm going to perceive things. I'm going to have something to say about them. I'm going to have an opinion. But at the end of the day, it genuinely doesn't fucking matter. And I don't want anyone to think that it does. I don't want anyone to think I'm promoting, you know, gossipy bullshit in spiritualism. It has no place. It genuinely doesn't. This was all just for fun and games, just so that I can, you know, review a tarot deck I don't want and someone else can come up on a tarot deck at the end of the day, right? So I just want to say a very, very, very big thank you to you guys. I know this is my first video of the new year and it actually should have been my last video of the previous year, but, you know, I get to things when I get to things. So anyways, thank you guys so much for a beautiful, fantastic 2022. That is the year that I became monetized. I almost hit 2,000 followers and it's just been a really fantastic year. So I just want to say thank you guys all so very much for your love and support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for interacting with my content as always. Let me know if you have any ideas for content you'd like to see in the new year. You guys know I'm always so excited to do things that you have ideas about. I'm willing to answer any questions in video form, you know, all that jazz. If you guys are interested, my link tree is in the description down below for you. It has all my socials, my shop, my booking information, all that fun stuff. And that's all I got for you guys today. I am so very grateful to still be here, to still be trucking on YouTube. This was a huge dream of mine, and I'm so glad every single day that I can do it, even if I don't do it as much as I would like to. So wherever you are when this video reaches you, my friends, I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful day, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Blessed be.